Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Keith Levison. I'm one of the managing brokers for MVP Realty here in the Orlando area. And I am joined by my favorite of all property managers, Nish, with All County Property Management, the only man I would trust to be by my side. So
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, so today what we kind of wanted to talk about is, Nish and myself, we often get questions from individuals who are interested in getting into our fields, getting into being a realtor or getting into property management. And we kind of want to talk about some of the mindsets and some of the stuff you need to be aware of. So I hope Nish does not mind, but I'm going to go first on this one because it
Hey,
is near and dear to my heart.
age before beauty.
Oh, look, man, I've lost 20 pounds.
Hey, no, I saw that. Good job.
You know,
You'll
hopefully
have
I'm
to tell me your
looking
secrets.
good. I don't eat. But so anyway, when it comes to real estate, if you want to get into being a realtor, buying, selling, helping individuals invest in real estate, you gotta have a strong mindset. And what I mean by that is you need endurance and patience. And you need endurance because here's just some of the numbers that people need to know. Within the first year, 33% of realtors are going to leave the business. Within 5 years, 87% of realtors are going to leave the business. In 2023, over 60,000 realtors have left the business. So it's not easy. Individuals often think that real estate is what we see on TV, selling sunset, $1 million listing. And a lot of it is. It's fun. You go out, you show homes. It's amazing. You get to meet great people. You get to wine and dine people. It's so much fun. It can be that. But that is a small percentage of our work. Our work starts really when the property gets under contract, because that's when all hell breaks loose. And there's just no other way to say it. That is the day that right before closing, the lender calls you and says, hey, this person is hourly based, but their company sent us a form stating they're salary based, and that threw off all the numbers and you're not closing tomorrow. What are you going to do? Or you get somebody who comes and they inspect the property, stay quiet. Now it's the day after their inspection period ends. You've listed the property and they say, we want to cancel. We want to back out. What do? How do you handle these problems? And it's not just what do you do, but it's what do you do mentally? And quite honestly, like everybody else, I get depressed. I'm going to be honest. When a deal falls through and I see $70,000 go down the drain, I get depressed.
Of course, anybody would.
Right? But I allow myself one day. I get to be sad and upset about it one day. Tomorrow, you get up, you put on your pants, and you make your phone calls. Yes, I was not wearing pants the day before. We're not talking about that. I was depressed, and there were probably crumbs all over. Does not matter. I am an emotional eater. But the point is that you're going to get up and you're going to do your business. And you got to find a way to pull it together. You got to find a way to stay positive. And that's why so many people talk about finding your why. your reason,
Mm-hmm.
because you need it on those days. And if it's just about a paycheck, it's not going to be enough to get you up and out of bed. It's not going to be enough. So, if you're thinking about getting into the realtor side of real estate, realize this is your business. You are accountable for it. It is hard. Failure rates would not be this high if it was not hard, but you can do it with the proper support and the proper mindset. Now, I'm curious, property management ninja, kung fu master, teach me. If I wanted to get into property management, what are some things I need to know and need to think about?
Well, so in order for you to be a property manager and you're managing, say, residential homes with a brokerage per se, right? You have to be a licensed real estate agent first. So you have to get into the real estate market. You have to be a licensed real estate agent to go ahead and basically manage those homes for a brokerage. That's the first step. You're going to need some skills and you're going to have to work on those skills. You're going to need organizational skills. You're going to need strong communication skills, problem solving skills. I mean, these are just the tip of the iceberg. And then after that, you have to have knowledge about what the laws, the rules, the regulations are in your area. Are you just going to tell somebody to move out in 30 days, or do you have to give them a 60-day notice based off your county's rules and regulations? Can you just walk into somebody's house, or do you have to give them a 24-hour notice to enter? When somebody doesn't pay rent, can you change the locks on them? No, these are things that you have to learn, or else you would be in a load of trouble without understanding these things and educating yourself. And then at the end of it, then also you have to have negotiating skills, because now somebody sends you a quote to go ahead and paint a brand new house or for $3,000, and your fiduciary responsibility is the homeowner. So now you're talking to this vendor saying, hey, can we come down on this price, and having those type of skills. So property management, I feel like a lot of times is the property manager is the one who's having the tough conversations with the homeowners and with the tenants and with the vendors. You're that person. It is a fulfilling job because you're finding people a place to live. You're helping the owner to have passive income, but you also have to have those difficult conversations.
I'm curious. So, we were talking about this before we jumped on here. I was having a conversation with somebody else, and, you see these small property management companies where, there were, I guess the individual I was talking to was trying to figure out what's the difference between them and somebody like you. Like, and some of the stuff we talked about is, yeah, they're doing the, maybe assisting with the painting, the lawn care, the replacement of carpet, but things like funds, advertising, that type of stuff. What's the difference? Could you kind of explore that, help us expound on that a little bit?
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, if you want to see a benefit, if you're hiring a property manager, they should have a bookkeeping accounting department, because at the end of the month, when you receive your statements, you need a breakdown of your statement, how much rent you've collected, what went into maintenance, because at the end of the year, that's going to be your taxes, that's going to be your write-off services. All of those things matter, because again, if as a homeowner, as an investor, you want to see income, you want to see a return on your property. So if you're not showing that to your homeowners, then there's going to be a problem. Secondly, for a large brokerage, just for myself, I mean, you're talking, if you have to know if you're collecting money for a deposit, is it in a non-escrow bearing, is it not a non-interest bearing escrow account or an interest bearing escrow account? Those are the type of things you have to have knowledge. This is just, again, the tip of the iceberg, and it goes from there. You have to know when you have to disperse the money to the owners. You have to know what tax documents to have. And it goes back to also with the rules, the regulations. There may be a homeowner that says, hey, no, I don't want any pets in my property. Again, you have to have that tough conversation. I understand that you don't want to have pets in your property, but if there was a situation where there is a need for a service animal, then you will have to accept that pet. There is no question about that. So, the difference is that you have to, some of the smaller companies, they don't have the system in place
Mm,
for a proper management of the property. It's a one-person show. Whereas if I went on vacation next week, I have people that will back me up. I have maintenance coordinators. I have a leasing coordinator. All these type of things. You mentioned marketing. Well, so if somebody's not marketing the property properly on MLS, on Zillow, on all the syndicated websites, then how long is a property sitting on the market? You just put a for rent sign in the front of the house and think it's going to get rented within 30 days? I don't think that's going to happen.
yeah, 100%. And now I'm curious, I want to circle back to one thing you also mentioned previously. You were talking about, as property managers, you have those hard conversations. When you have, I talked about me when I have my bad day,
Yeah.
you know, you don't have to get into that detail. But I'm just curious, when you hit that day where it is all just bad conversations, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the vendor's not doing this, they're not renewing their lease, this landlord is ticked off at you, whatever it may be. How do you push yourself to keep going? How do you maintain your mindset in order to get up the next day and do it all over again?
It's you have to find your why. You have to find the joy of doing it. What are the joys of why you're doing it, right? And why you want to do it. Let me ask you this question. How many clients do you work with at one time? Just any given time.
Yeah. So for me personally, but now none.
Mhm.
I'm a non-compete broker.
Yeah.
But I would say your newer agents are probably working with 2 to 5, and your more experienced agents could be working with 30, 40, 100. It's going to all depend.
So across all our offices, we manage about 1,500 doors. So that's about 1,000 different owners. Um, that's just a rough estimate, right? So if you're having a bad time with one of these owners, you can't have a bad time with another of these owners.
Mm,
So you have to be on the up. So I guess to answer your question, you just have to mentally prepare yourself that there are going to be tough days and you do not have the luxury of giving it a whole day, unfortunately, and then getting back into it because it's not just one deal. Whereas in your case, we're dealing with different property managers. I'm sorry, different homeowners, but
mm,
then also on the flip side, you're dealing with different tenants as well. So you have almost two different type of people to report to.
yeah.
Um, but you do one of the main things is getting into it. You have to have the mental fortitude. Is that listen? There are going to be rough days. It's some days more than others. You're putting out fires on a constant basis, and it's not meant for everybody. Property management isn't meant for everybody. Some people just love the aspect of it. Me, it's in my family. I'm a property manager. My wife is in property management. My mom is. My sister is, and that's just what we do. But then there's some people who just, I talk to plenty of realtors and they tell me, oh, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. Because a lot of times you'll see is that with a lot of brokerages, they do sales first and property management on the side, sort of. Whereas our main focus is property management.
Yeah. And it's true, well, first of all, I never had somebody so nicely call me a big baby. You called me a big baby in the nicest way. You're like, oh my goodness, you get a whole day, you child. I get 10 seconds. Get over it.
Until the next phone call.
That's right. So, all right, I got it.
But having systems in place also helps putting out those fires so it is less stressful. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, but I get it. And, but you're right. Even our brokerage, we do not do property management. We do real estate sales and purchasing. We do help individuals advertise their leases and rentals. We will do that in assisting marketing or locating a tenant. but
Mhm.
we do not manage the property. We don't take escrow. We do not, come and answer the questions of the renter or the leasee. We don't do that.
Yeah.
And it's true because it is a very different aspect of real estate. And I think it's very interesting what you talked about that. Look, I'm talking to so and so, and immediately I got to get on a phone call with this next person. Or I have this landlord, yep, curse me out, yell at me, and I got to call the tenant, but I can't carry that energy
No.
from the landlord over as I'm trying to talk to the tenant, and I think that's very interesting. Um, yeah. So, for us, it's true. I had the systems in place that my business ran for a day without me. I could go and curl up in bed and cry in a dark room, but I had to get up. I had
Yeah.
to get up and get back to work. So it was luxurious. My crying was luxurious.
No,
I'm curious, is there anything else that with a whole family as property managers, anything else that you would think is important to share?
well, there's different avenues too, right? So, what kind of property management do you want to do? Do you want to do property management like I do, which is residential property management, renting out residential homes, managing residential homes for owners, or little apartments or duplexes? Or do you want to go into the type of property management where you're managing a complex,
Mm-hmm.
300 units, 250 units? That's what my mom and my sister do.
Right.
So, it just depends. With the apartment management, you don't necessarily need your real estate license.
Mm,
It's nice to have it, but you don't need it. So it just depends on which. Then you could go down the community association management CAM licenses.
yeah.
You could get your CAM license and you could just manage the association. So it just depends. What I would recommend is just do your research in each different avenue. My job gives me a lot more flexibility, whereas a community manager of an apartment complex or a association manager doesn't. But then also, it just depends on their income. They have a higher salary per se, where my salary is based off of what I bring
Mm,
into what I can manage.
makes sense. Well, Nish, I appreciate it. This was our career fair, I guess, for the year. If people are interested in property management or careers in real estate, please feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to talk with you. We hope that you find value in these videos. Like, share, comment. We appreciate it. It goes a long way towards helping us continue to generate this content. And we hope you all have a great day. We will see you on the next video. Nish, as always, thank you, sir.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.